Welcome, welcome, welcome to Botanical University Challenge 2026. We're delighted to welcome a record 32 teams to the competition and our international online audience. Just take a moment to admire the slide on the screen. That's 32 different institutions across the UK and Ireland joining us today. You can play along, audience online can play along. You can follow the QR code, download the play along sheets and join in the fun that way. And of course, also next week and the week after for the 3 online rounds. This is the approximate schedule. We're a little bit late starting. We were getting the teams in, but we're all ready to go. We have our lovely teams just waiting to get going on the botanical questions. Just a little bit about the prizes. So we're delighted that the Field Studies Council have again supported us, and they will be offering identification aids for all the teams that get to next week and beyond. So we thank the Field Studies Council very much for their support. Also, the Botanical Society of Britain and Ireland supporting us again, offering digital membership for the students getting to round 3 and beyond. So thank you to the Botanical Society of Britain and Ireland. This year, CABI are pleased to support and offering book prizes to the champions in the August finals. Of course, we're delighted to that the champions will hold this beautiful Sid Thomas Trophy for a year, currently in the proud possession of Buck 2025 champions Aberdeen. This will be passed on to our winner in the August finals. Talking of prizes, of course, all the contestants, all the participants, teams and reserves get the big prize of free invitations to the 4th Student Botany Festival, which will be held at Reading as part of the centenary of the signing of the university charter. And we'll be delighted to welcome you all here between the 19th and the 21st of August. Yes, exactly. Hurrah. So that's a really important part of our competition is the student botany festivals, which provide all kinds of skills, employment, and social activities. So that's something that we're all looking forward to here at Reading, and we're well on with the planning for the festival. We get every year wonderful team names. We've got 32 wonderful team names. We'll skip through them quickly in a moment, but we have a team name competition. You can vote for your favorite 3. The competition will be open from today for the rest of this month. So please follow the QR code and take part once you've decided your favorite team names. So without further ado, I'll stop sharing my screen and we're going to bring in the teams. We're going to start with the University of Nottingham, and we're just going to bring the teams in for a wave, just a quick wave. So are we ready?
Yep.
Did I stop sharing?
I did it for you.
So let's have the University of Nottingham and just give a nice big wave for the University of Nottingham. Xylem hardly know 'em. Okay, I'll need some help with this because I can't see the teams on my screen, but the University of Southampton, the not so hot potatoes. I can see you. Nice big wave, thank you. University of Plymouth. So last year runners up, University of Plymouth, welcome, welcome. Lovely to see you, the Plymouthites. Then from Ireland, the University of Galway. Rage Against the Rhododendron. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. And then one of the teams that's been in Botanical University Challenge since it started back in 2016, Edge Hill University. Welcome again, welcome again. And then the University of York, long time no see. Hello, long time no see indeed. Good to see you. Good to see you. And then we have the Botanics, Royal Botanic Garden, Edinburgh. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much, I will. University of Oxford, the Know-it Oaks. University of Oxford, we enjoyed the festival in Oxford back in 2024. Hello, hello, little, we can see you all there. Excellent, hello, Oxford. Eden Project University Centre, Back to the Fuchsia. Hello, welcome, welcome. And then close by, University of Reading, the University of Reading team, Spurge of the Moment. Welcome, hello, hello. Anglia Ruskin University, I kissed a bell and I liked it. I had to be told what that meant, but I'm a little bit last century. Hello, welcome, great name, great name. Then Durham University, the Durham Dendrons. Hello, welcome, welcome. University of Bristol, Top of the Poplars. Hello, Top of the Poplars. And then one of our teams that's in Botanical University Challenge for the first time, University of Essex. Welcome, University of Essex. The fight for knowledge. You are very welcome. You are very welcome. And then Aberystwyth, Cactus if you can. Cactus if you can. Hello. Hello, Aberystwyth. And then Pennyworth Lane, the University of Liverpool. Hello, Liverpool. Hello, Liverpool. Pennyworth Lane. And then Royal Holloway. Welcome, Royal Holloway. You betcha believe it. Indeed. Hello. Hello. Welcome. 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 Welcome, Royal Holloway. And then my old university, as an undergrad, I studied botany at Bangor University. So for the first time playing, we welcome the Giggly Gourds. Hello, hello, give my love to Bangor. Daniel Road, P-Biol, we used to call the plant biology building. And then we move on to Cardiff. So just round a new Welsh entry this year, the Greenhouse Gang. Hello, Cardiff. Hello, Cardiff. Then University of Leeds. We have our live stream engine centre at Leeds. Very welcome, University of Leeds. Welcome, Leeds. And then another newcomer for this year, University College London, the Bloomsbury Botanists. Hello, hello, Bloomsbury Botanists. You're very welcome. First time play, have a good time. Then last year's champions, University of Aberdeen, tax on, tax off. I think one of your team members is actually in Colombia, Santiago, doing your field work. So welcome, welcome back again. Last year's champions. Then over in Ireland, University College Dublin, the UCD Yarrows. Welcome, Dublin, University College Dublin. Hello, lovely to see you. Then we go up to Scotland. Let's go to University of Edinburgh for Paradise Palm House. Paradise Palm House, welcome, welcome. Paradise Palm House, that sounds lovely. Right. University of Sheffield. The Sheffield Forget-Me-Nots. The Sheffield Forget-Me-Nots. Lovely bit of Veronica going on there. Hello. Hello, hello. And then we go to Northern Ireland, Queen's University Belfast, Bats out of Hellabareen. Bats out of Hellabareen. Excellent. Welcome, Queen's Belfast. And then up to University of Dundee, the Dundee Daffodils. Welcome, Dundee. Welcome. Then let's go down to London again, Queen Mary, London, Trivialis Cutensis. Trivialis Cutensis, Queen Mary. Welcome. welcome. Over to Oxford Brookes for the Oxford Ragworts. Hello, hello, Oxford Ragworts. Then down to Portsmouth, who haven't got a Clusia. Welcome. I'm sure you'll find some Clusias in the next couple of hours. Welcome, welcome. And penultimate, up to Harper Adams University, the Plant Hoppers. Welcome, Plant Hoppers. Welcome, welcome. And last but not least, last year's venue for the festival, Cambridge, University of Cambridge, Gloomy Sundays. As a poesy fanatic, I quite like that name, the Gloomy Sundays. Today will not be at all gloomy in the gloomy sense with a double O, but it might be in the poetious way. So that's fantastic. That, if I've done my job correctly, is our 32 wonderful teams. So let's have a virtual round of applause for our wonderful teams. Yes, absolutely. So now, without further ado, I'd like to ask John Warren to introduce our chair for today's first online round for Botanical University Challenge 2026. Thank you, John.
Ew, just out of breath, just had to run from the back door with a big parcel of plant material. Guesses later. Right, welcome to Botanical University 2026, everybody. We are delighted that in the chair asking the questions this time, we've got Martin Barker from Aberdeen, because of course Aberdeen are our reigning champs. So just to make things a little bit trickier this year, Martin's going to be asking the questions in Doric. So over to Martin.
Okay, well, thanks for the intro. It's quite relevant what you've just been saying, because I do struggle with some languages, including botanical languages. So I'll explain that in a moment. Firstly, just to say I'm a senior lecturer here. I teach a lot of plant science, and I am passionate, and I have some really passionate students who love plants, and they are numerous in the university, but we have a fantastic team as well, and they are a subset of all the amazing plant people that we have in the university, enjoying actually a Drift Day, by the way, which has been going on for weeks. So I am also the program coordinator for a degree that we call Plant and Soil Science. Some of our undergraduates will tell you when they get a chance what their degree is, and many of them in the team and associated with the team are doing that degree. It's quite an unusual degree and very special, small but perfectly formed. I've worked at various universities, including actually Lancaster, where I met Jonathan for the first time. I've also worked in Bangor, Florida, Manchester, and loads of other places, but Aberdeen is now my home. I am not a botanist. I'm a plant ecophysiologist, and that is what I need to tell you so that you understand. If I mangle any of the scientific names, I've got that's my excuse, and I hope you'll be forgiving. It might even provide a bit of amusement. You never know. You're welcome to tease me about it later if you wish, but I'll try to be as clear as I can be, and I want everyone to do well, obviously, and have a fantastic time. And I'm happy to begin the proceedings if we can see the first set of questions. If we're ready for that now. So first of all, are you ready to start? We do want you to confirm that that's question number 1. So you'll see 11 questions, but actually it's just 10 that there are botanical. And for each question, you'll have 30 seconds to answer them. And I'm not in charge of the timing, mercifully. So who's ever running the show can put the first question up. This is, which species is shown? This is a taxonomic round. Meadow buttercup, bulbous buttercup, creeping buttercup, hairy buttercup, or Goldilocks buttercup, or ranunculus. 20 seconds. You may not need all of that time. And I won't talk over because you may be concentrating at the moment, but you probably understand exactly what you need to do here. I look forward to seeing your answers in due course. And now thistles, which we know a lot about in Scotland, actually. So which thistle species is shown here? Is it the spear thistle, marsh thistle, nodding welted thistle, meadow thistle, or woolly thistle? Again, 30 seconds to answer. You may not need all of that. And I hope you're feeling good so far as we go into the next question, which is just about to arrive on screen. So which plant produces these seeds? You'll be able to have a closer look at this. Is it black medic, wild madder, spotted medic, spiny rest harrow, or cleavers? Take a closer look if you need to. And it's good that you have long enough to make hopefully a safe decision. We're now saying we're ready for the next question. I think the timer's doing something a bit strange. Okay, so what species is shown here? It's the red dead nettle, hedge woundwort, betony, wild clary, or marsh woundwort. And that's a closer look. Not reading out the scientific names, but you can see them for yourselves if that is additionally helpful for you. Going into the next question in just a moment. Which Apiaceae species is shown here? So it's the hogweed, wild angelica, cow parsley, hemlock waterdropwort, or hemlock. And that's a closer look again. Hope it feels like it's going well for you so far. So to which genus of plants does this species currently belong? Mecanopsis, Dendron macron, Chalidonium escocia, or Argemone. And apologies for the pronunciation, but I think you know what you're looking at and you recognize the names. On to the next question now. To which genus of plant does this species currently belong? Ligustrum, Boxus, Veronica, Veronicastium, Loniceria. And again, a closer look. Ninth question. To which genus of plants does this species currently belong? Rhaenotria, Bistorta, Rumex, Cunicia, or Falopia? Closer look. And we're saying currently belong in case there's been recent changes. And now number 10, which is actually number 9. To which genus of plants does this species currently belong: Osteospermum, Chrysanthemum, Eregium, Diasperma, and Symphochytrium. And that is the last question just coming up. To which genus of plants does this species currently belong? Silene, Agrostum, Stemma, Petunia, Impatiens, or Cathanthus? That brings us to the end of round one once you've answered that question. John, what do you think?
I was just going to ask you exactly the same thing. What I was going to say is you could see two very different sets of questions there. So the first five, if you notice the credits were the Big Meadow project. So those questions were provided by Laura Moss at the Big Meadow project. And if you don't follow the Big Meadow project on social media, this is a hint to the teams. You probably should, because you'll see that they regularly post fabulous plant photos like that. And we've borrowed several of them for the ID rounds this year in Botanical University Challenge. So thanks to the Big Meadow project for providing those wonderful pictures. And there's a place to go and sort of, polish up your botanical ID skills for future rounds. The second
Great.
five were provided by the RHS, by Jordan. And Jordan was actually part of the first winning team in book 2016, the first ever book. And Jordan was part of that team and he now works at the RHS. So they were more horticultural ID questions. And as you alluded to, he'd specifically gone for tricky families that have changed their taxonomy. So places where there have been name changes. So if you're keeping up with the name changes in horticulture, you should have found the second five questions sort of easier. Be interesting to find out what the teams thought about them as well. I thought there was the first few particularly were a nice gentle introduction to book 2026.
And it's great that you're giving a shout out to those organizations. So yes, thank you for doing that. Do we want to say anything about the hemlock water droplet? What that springs out at me, or
Was
would
that
you?
was that the very question five? I guess that one, trying to remember
Yes,
back.
yes. So
I'm
in the
guessing
APAC.
that wasn't the answer to that question. That was
Well,
identifying the
I
seeds,
wanted to
isn't it?
make a comment about the fact that this is known to be the most toxic of all our plants in the UK. I'm not sure if that's correct. So that maybe we should all know about it, is what I'm thinking.
It is particularly toxic. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
the roots, and it's not only toxic, it's one that occasionally people misidentify because they think that it's a wild parsnip. In fact, I recall
yes,
being told a
exactly.
story when I was an undergraduate about a group of hippies who were poisoned by digging it up, thinking it was a parsnip, and poisoned the entire
Getting free
sort of
food.
group
Yeah.
by putting them into a stew. Unfortunately, that story led to a misunderstanding that its scientific name was actually Hippicilla. Hippicilla, it actually does sound
Well,
like a scientific name, and for years I struggled to unlearn Hippicilla as the
no,
scientific
I
name
think you
for.
should continue to think about that because it's helpful, probably, um, to get
Right,
that
so we're
association.
back on the answers now, so we
Yes.
can work
Okay.
through the answers and see how the teams have done.
Right. So as you can see, lots of people going for the correct, what turns out to be the correct answer, the bulbous buttercup. We had,
Distinctly curved sepals there, that should have been the clue. The fact that
okay,
the sepals
that's really
turn
how
back down the stem.
good clue. Yes. But quite a lot of interest in meadow buttercup. That's maybe the one we're more familiar with in some parts of the UK, at least. But every one of those got a vote from at least one or two teams, and in some cases, the majority going for what turns out to be the correct one. We can have a look at the next one. Thistles. I mentioned that in Scotland, that's our national flower. No one was going to go for the nodding welted thistle. No interest in that. Mercifully, a strong interest in the woolly thistle. A high proportion of the teams were going for that one. I wonder why. But it's correct answer, I guess, is one reason why people were choosing it. So which plant produces these seeds, sorry. And so this is quite mixed,
This
isn't
is a
it,
hard
John?
question, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
I knew this one because actually, as a small child, I found one of those in my porridge. So I actually, not knowing what it was, broke it open, got the seeds, and planted it. So I know from experience from porridge contamination that that's the spotted medic. Quite an
So
unusual little
probably,
seed case.
yeah, a cue to find out more about it for all the teams that did not initially recognize that as being the correct identification. Really interesting. So this is quite. I was looking forward to seeing the results for this one because in Scotland, as you all the teams will know, we don't have too many dead nettles growing. They just don't come this far north. Maybe the red dead nettle's been more successful than the white one, but whenever I go to the south, I see the lots of the white, the Lamium um, white version, and I always enjoy seeing them, but we don't get them so much around here. Anyway, the correct answer, equal billing with an incorrect answer, but Bethany was the one to go for. Any comments on that, John?
Well, I
Is
thought
this what you were
yeah,
expecting?
again,
Yeah,
it's ID. If you know the plant, you know the plant, so it's easy.
sure.
So I thought that this was a relatively easy one, but I noticed at the time the teams took a lot of time in deciding their answers, and that is reflected in that sort of 50-50 split there between Clary and Bettany. Also
Yeah, so it's between those two,
occurs in a
probably.
white
Yeah,
form
yeah,
as
yeah.
well, so it's a colour polymorphic species.
And that makes it a bit more tricky, presumably. Yeah. Okay, so on to the question about the Apiaceae. We've just been having a little chat about one of those species, the one that everyone should know about, including the hippies, perhaps. So the correct answer was right there at the top, towards the top, and a fair proportion of teams were choosing it, but also rather more went for the wild Angelica, which is not correct, and the others were runners up, as it were.
This, of
Again,
course,
John, you may have
it's
had
a
some prediction
dangerous
about this.
family to
Yeah.
misidentify because there are lots of edible members of this family, but there are also quite a few that are toxic.
Yes.
And I
Again.
only relatively recently heard that you can eat the seeds, read that you can eat the seeds of hogweed. And as long as your ID is okay, I would recommend giving it a try. They have got a really quite interesting flavour. It's very curry-like. And of course, cardamom, I'm thinking of cumin, uh, is a member of the APEC. So quite a lot of the curry flavors you get from this family. And hogweed seeds are very sort of savory and very pleasant taste. Worth giving them a try. Just nibble one. It's not enough to kill you if you've misidentified it.
And you did say as long as you're sure, and
Yeah.
I guess we should, as a disclaimer, we should mention that. Okay, so on to the next one. Which genus of plants does this currently belong to? A satisfying majority going for Mecanopsis. It's our icon flower for the Botanic Gardens, the Crookshank Botanic Gardens. This is their logo. So the Aberdeen team are hopefully we're recognizing that along with Edinburgh Botanic Garden, who have a huge collection, a very impressive collection of Mecanopsis.
And the name change
Close,
there, I think, sort of involves things like what was
yeah,
Mechinopsis cambrensis, the Welsh poppy, and
but I think it's
Mechinopsis
been Mecanopsis for a while,
Yeah,
hasn't
but it's not in Mechanopsis anymore. The Welsh poppy's been moved out. It's now
it?
just
Okay, okay,
it's a genuine poppy. It's in the Papaveracea now.
yeah. Okay, and there was a runner-up, but which possibly some teams were more attracted to.
Mm.
Thank you. So, to which genus of plants does this currently belong to? Veronica was the majority view, and it was the correct one. And a few follows up, and to be fair, quite widely dispersed set of voting there, but the majority is certainly going for what hopefully they would recognize, and it wasn't just a lucky guess. That was an informed choice, I'm sure, in many cases. And this is I struggle with the pronunciation. I hope that didn't detract from what you were thinking about. This one, John, turns out to be a difficult one. I don't know if you were aware of that during the voting. Was it slow?
I didn't pick
in
up
the
on that
decision
one.
making? Yeah.
Yeah, Alice just correcting us and saying it's Papava cambricum is the Welsh poppy.
Okay, yeah. So
Which
thank
I
you for
think
that.
the sort of confusion there as well is that it was the type species for the genus, and it's not in that genus anymore.
That's absolutely right, John. Yes, it's one of these cases like acacia where the type species of the genus was actually taken out of the genus to minimize the number of species that would change their name.
Question that we're looking at is the teams have obviously found quite difficult.
Yeah.
I must admit, I found this one of the harder questions in this first round, so I'm not surprised that the team struggled with it.
And I suppose when you think about it, if you're one of the teams that struggled with this one, you're in good company basically, and nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, but there have been some strong responses to some of the other questions. Maybe they're more difficult, more accessible, but this one, I think, quite rightly is the sort of question that you do need in each round. That something's a bit more challenging and makes people think very carefully. Thank you. And we'll go to showing 10 on the screen. There's actually 9, I think, which is to which genus of plants does this currently belong? We don't have, again, this is quite mixed, isn't it? And
it's another one that the teams appear to struggle with, doesn't it?
yeah, a lot of interest in chrysanthemum and not so much in the correct answer. For whatever reason, maybe the teams were taking a shot at this. Maybe it was an informed decision, but with maybe insufficient information. We'll maybe get to find out if we chat to the teams a bit later. So this is question 10, to which genus does this belong to? Silene was a very popular choice, and many people have been rewarded by a point because it turns out to be the correct answer. But again, some spread of voting across some of the other options as well. That's quite an interesting set of results overall for round 1.
So hopefully the team that in Reading quickly collating the score so we can have an idea of what the scoreboard is.
Yes,
there will
indeed.
be. Hi, Jonathan. You've got news for us.
No. We've been beavering away, or rather, Alistair Cullum has been beavering away, not only about poppies, but so we have a leaderboard for round 1, and I'm going to share my screen. And then we'll bring on a couple of teams just to have a look at this. Okay, can you see that? Can you see the screen?
Ooh, yeah.
Good. So at the top of the leaderboard, we have UCL on 8, closely followed by Bangor. These are both new teams this year, so that's a great performance. Then we have Oxford, Plymouth, York on 7, Anglia Ruskin, Eden, Edgehill, Harper Adams on 6, RBG Edinburgh, the Botanics on 5, Reading on 5, Aberdeen 4. So hopefully got that question that you mentioned, Martin. UC Dublin, and it's a long scoreboard, as you can see, right down to the bottom there. But of course, this is round 1. There is everything to play for. We're going to share the link in the on the YouTube, so the audience can revisit this themselves. But we thought we'd bring on a couple of teams just to talk about the scores after round 1. So I'll stop sharing, and we're going to talk to UCL and Bangor.
Quite a lot of ties there, we should mention.
Yeah. Oh yes. Sorry. By all means, yeah. Comment on the score, please. Yeah, it's a lot of ties.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like we're having a few technical problems speaking to some of the teams, but yeah, the wide spread of marks there. Good to see some of the first time teams doing really well and getting off to a flying start, getting sort of 7s and
Hi.
8s.
Hello, Banga.
Hi. Hiya.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, so far so good.
Very good, I think we have to say.
Yeah.
Right at the top of the leaderboard
And you're
after round
pleasing.
one.
Jonathan would be particularly pleased, presumably.
Okay.
Yeah, very fond memories of Banga. And hello, UCL, Bloomsbury Botanist. How are you feeling?
Hello, yeah, we're feeling confident so far.
Yeah. All you've got to do now, of course, is keep that up because the other rounds are going to be about completely different topics.
Downhill.
Any comments from John or Martin? Absolutely. These are two teams that are joining us for the first time. And I suspect on the basis of this, we'll be seeing them again in future years.
Great.
So
Good
yeah,
start.
lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so a
I
long way
think
to
unless
go
you have any
before we
other
worry too
comments
much
to
about
say,
the
Martin or
scores.
John, we could move
But-
on to round two.
Yeah, let's get on with the quiz.
So on the screen there, are you ready? First question. That's an easy question, isn't it? What product is made from these fruit varieties? Blakeney Red, Dead Boy, Early Treacle, Betty Prosser, Copy. And the options are Ribena, cider, Perry, raisins, or linen. And there's quite rapid voting going on, but still quite a few teams holding back. And we're pretty much there. Great stuff. So this is the next question is, what is the etymology of the words which or which, as in which elm? Look at the spelling very carefully there. And witch hazel. In the word that we're looking at is which in whichever spelling. Brittle, thin, medicinal, flexible, or contorted. Those are your 5 options. And there's a closer look that shows some which. And I've got one in my room which I could have held up at that point as well. Which product is traditionally used to make this product? So you can have a closer look at the image in a moment. The options are A, oak, B, orchids, fruit tubers, C, dandelion, roots, D, oats, seeds, or E, celandine, root tubers. And that's a closer look at the product. So what is the source of that product out of those 5 options? The next question is, what is the following species? Which of the following species is Jack? I think it's John Heslop Harrison thought to have introduced from the island of Rum, or Rum that's got 2 different spellings. Scandinavian sedge, creeping willow, alpine catchfly, mountain avens, or cloudberry are your 5 options. This is a fascinating story. So we're looking at the one that is introduced from that list. The next question, in the Death Note anime, which some of you might be familiar with, what human world fruit does Light Yagami Shinigami love the most? And again, apologies for the pronunciation, but I think you'll understand it's either apples, durians, strawberries, banana, or mangoes? If you know your popular culture, this could be the question for you and your team. And this truly is potluck, isn't it? Pretty much random. And your time's just running out there. We go on to the next one. So how did Calamites fossils form? We got A, petrification, B, encased in volcanic ash, C, stem compression, D, pith cast, or E, mineral replacement. And there's a closer look at the fossil. On to the next question. Which of the following is not a variety of potato, Solanum tuberosum? So we're looking for the one that is not a variety. A, golden wonder. B, banana. C, home guard. D, couch. And E, mega chip. I think someone's had a bit of fun with this question. I think the voting is fairly quick. We're now asking the question, which of the following species cannot be seen in Albrecht Dürer's great piece of turf? Is it A, great plantain, C, creeping bent, C, dandelion, D, yarrow, or E, self-heal? Not visible. And you've got a closer look as well, but hopefully you already are familiar with the painting. The question number 9, what geological period is this fossil ginkgo hooteni from Scarborough, Yorkshire from? So A, Cretaceous, B, Jurassic, C, Triassic, D, Permian, or E, Carboniferous? And we've got fossils from Yorkshire in the team that is delivering this session as well. So this is hopefully a very accessible question, and I hope lots of teams got in there with an answer. And this is the final question in the list for the potluck. What is measured as merosity? Is it porosity within a leaf? Is it the plant diversity in wetland? Is it the number of component parts in a distinct whorl of plant structure? Is it D, branching in fungal mycelium, or E, the air sacs within lichens? Oh, sorry, the air space within lichens. Just been working on something on the air sacs. So 5 choices. Hope one's jumping out at you. And that was a pretty intense round. I hope it was a good one for all of the teams. You had a really good go at all of those interesting questions.
Yeah, very varied set of questions there, as you'd expect in plant potluck. And I think you could probably tell that those questions were written by quite a wide diversity of different people in the question setting team.
I do get the feeling that people were having fun. I did mention that briefly during the actual quiz. Which is always a good idea, isn't it? So, John, John, do you want to say anything up front about that, those questions, or
Well,
anything
no, I
that
think
occurred
it'd
to you during the
be
time that
nice
we?
to sort of work back through them and see what your reaction was to them. And I can't imagine what question you were referring to with people having a bit of fun, or indeed who might have written that question.
Right, and I hope you appreciate the fossils from Yorkshire joke
The
as well.
fossil from actually the particular fossil is a couple of feet away from a feet. It was on my botanical bucket list, was finding a ginkgo fossil. So a few years ago, I went on a expedition to Scarborough to see if I could find a ginkgo fossil, and yeah, it's still here in the front room.
I'm looking forward to seeing their responses. I don't know if we're waiting for them to come up or whether we can chat a bit more before that is going to happen.
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Here's
hey,
the answers. You can
that's
see
great.
how
Okay.
they've done.
So, product made from these fruit varieties. Oh,
Ah,
this is interesting.
it
Okay.
is.
Many were going for Ribena. That was a majority choice that turned out to be not correct. Perry, rather old-fashioned drink, perhaps. Maybe that doesn't have the same sort of appeal to the teams, for example. The witch hazel. I've
Medicinal
just
they went for. Yeah, so the first two
so yes, this turns
questions
out
are
to be
wrong
quite
footing people,
challenging.
aren't
Yeah,
they? Yeah.
yeah. And that so this is folklore, isn't it? And we can maybe assume that maybe this is something that deserves a bit more consideration in your reading and thinking. Anyone
You see,
who is
I might have been tempted by brittle there.
yeah,
And
okay.
nobody went for brittle, but yeah,
So flexible.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. We haven't got time for me to show you one, probably, but we can confirm that they are indeed flexible, and a bit of a mystery in some respects. So this is the plant product, and the so the correct one response was orchids, and that was not particularly popular choice, although it
No,
wasn't
it's perhaps it's not
way
something you
down.
think of being turned
Yeah,
into a sort of a beverage,
yeah.
but apparently it was a very common street food in medieval London, and it was a sort of a thick, porridgey, sloppy drink. Whether the product there that's still for sale in London, which is where I took that photograph, is anything like the original medieval version, I don't know, and I'd like
That
to
would be
think that
fascinating.
it's
Yeah.
no longer made with orchids, but other sort of starchy root tubers. All right, so
This is
Seb,
we're getting lots of culinary advice here. This is
yeah,
fantastic. Great. I hope people are feeling inspired. Thank
dandelion
you.
roots. Right,
And
It's
okay.
called salap, isn't it? I think the orchid flavored ice cream.
Right, so on to the
well,
question about the Heslop Harrison frauds.
yes, I found this very interesting. It's something I've been teaching in one of my classes, and I first was inspired by this story a year ago when there was a fantastic program on Radio 4 about this hoax. So that's still available if anyone wants to listen to the program. But basically, it is a story of intrigue and deception that actually didn't work out because Heslop Harrison was found out by an amateur botanist from Cambridge. So the Cambridge team, I hope you're feeling good about that. That your sleuth was the person that identified the fact that these plants or some plants were being introduced. Among them was the alpine catchfly, and others that are presumably native to Rum, not or at least not introduced by Heslop Harrison. It's a very shameful part of botanical history, by the way, and the book is fascinating. John, any further comments about that?
Well, no, but you're right. It's a fascinating story and well worth getting hold of the book or
Yeah,
listening to it on
yeah,
Radio 4. I did my undergraduate degree in Newcastle, which of course where Heslop
yes,
Harrison was
exactly. Yeah,
based. And in fact, I studied in the Heslop Harrison lab. And it's well before the story really sort of broke and the book was published. But the story was kind of known around that time that there were suspicions about some of his plant records. Well, not just plants, but sort of insect records as well, because he also claimed to have found a number of weird water beetles and even the large blue butterfly, which seemed very unlikely.
yeah. Quite a solitary man, and I think still people were being very respectful and not revealing the truth until well after he died, and also after his son died as well. So on to something quite different. These anime is not. I don't know a lot about, but certainly one of my sons is quite intrigued by this. This got a good response, so that tells you something about the about the composition of the teams. Perhaps this is part of their culture, but it's great to see overwhelming choice was correct for apples. I want to make a point about durians because I did some of my postdoc work in Borneo, and durians were a big thing in the markets. And durians, I think my colleagues will agree, and the students will agree if they know anything about durians, are either they're Marmite. You either hate them or you loathe them. And I personally hate them. I think the smell is disgusting, but the taste is pretty good. I couldn't resist making a comment about durians, even though that was not the correct answer in this case.
Well, my favourite quote with the durians is the description that it's like French kissing your dead granny.
Well, that's
I
yeah,
think we
makes
should
it even
move on
less
from that.
appealing. Exactly. Yeah. So where did so this is your territory, Calamites. So
Yeah, the
we
team struggled with this one as well. This is
there
another
was a
Yorkshire
struggle.
related
Yeah.
question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that these fossils turn up in the Yorkshire sort of coal seams, and they are created by pith casts. So it's the inside of plants that are very similar to horsetails, the inside of horsetails filling up with sort of sediments, and then the plant material around the outside rotting away, but the cast being fossilized.
So probably any team that had a potential geologist on among them, you know, at least in as a secondary interest, that maybe had a slight advantage, but the overwhelming number of
Well, the
teams
Galway team are
did not
always
see that.
asking for paleobotany questions, so perhaps
Yeah.
the Galway team were one of the teams that got that
Yeah.
right.
So, which is not a variety of potato, couch potato. This is one that I thought was quite amusing, and I hope people enjoyed it. And indeed, not only did they enjoy it, but they, by a very substantial majority,
But
chose
somebody was
correct.
drawn to every alternative there. There was no question that, no answer that didn't get a vote. And I put my
Yeah,
hand up. Yeah, that was my question.
yeah.
I am responsible for the couch potato.
The species that cannot be seen in Albrecht Dürer's great piece of turf, mixed voting on this one,
The
although the
majority of teams have
majority
got it, haven't they?
have got it right. But at least all the teams avoided dandelion, some interesting creeping bent, but I think substantially people
Yeah,
knew
this is
this one.
a piece of art that's turned up in Botanical University questions in the past. So hopefully
Yeah,
it's one that the teams are familiar with.
so great, and
Superb,
that's nice
superb
feeding.
piece of art. Yeah.
So geological time period in the fossil from Ginkgo, Otoni, Scarborough, Yorkshire.
Yorkshire's
Jurassic was
Jurassic
correct,
coast. Yeah.
and well, Carboniferous also got rather
Yeah, you
more
can see
votes,
the
but
logic, but if you
yeah,
know
yeah,
the Jurassic coast in Yorkshire, there was a hint there. Perhaps a
yeah,
little tougher on the Irish teams.
yeah, great, good set of results in that particular case. And this is the final question, Morosity, and the majority went for the correct answer, which is the number of component parts. I suppose in a multiple choice, sometimes the argument is you should go for the one with the longest description, and that doesn't always work, of course. But in this case, it happens to be correct. John, what you want to say anything more about that particular one?
Uh, well, the team seemed to have done a reasonable job again with that. Looks like a tough round, doesn't it? It will be interesting to see what the
Yeah.
scores are like after that one. There were quite a number of questions there that sort of the correct answer wasn't the majority choice. But that final one, it definitely was.
So that could shake things up a bit and in the rankings. I don't know if we are going to be seeing that, or we should.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed,
Okay.
indeed, yes. So we have the scores. I will share the scoreboard, and then we're going to put the link in the YouTube so the audience can have a look at it as we go through. So let me share, and here we go. I think we're
Impressive work by the Reading team in getting the score sorted.
Yeah, it's Alistair's focused mind, Alistair Cullen. Anyway, here we are. I'm going to ask John in a moment for you to tell us as we go down the board, what the cutoff point is that teams should be thinking about. We'll also put this in the chat so that teams can look at it. But it looks there's been a bit of a change at the top. UCL still strong there on 14. Plymouth coming up now at 12. Harper Adams, Oxford on 11. Anglia Ruskin, Bangor.
Doing well.
The Botanics, Edinburgh, York on 10, Aberdeen, Edge Hill, University College Dublin on 9, Cambridge, Edinburgh on 8, Aberystwyth, Oxford Brookes, Reading on 7, Eden, Essex, Leeds. And as you commented last time, a lot of ties. But what is the critical cutoff, John, for the teams that will go through to next week?
We're trying to carry as many teams through as possible, but of course we need to end up in 3 weeks' time at the end of the third event with just 4 teams to progress through to the finals in Reading. So today we are planning on losing the bottom 8 teams, and if there's a tie in that, then we'll carry all the tying teams over. No tie breaks today or next week, but we'll have tie breaks. So only the final 4 progress after 3 weeks.
So at the moment, it looks as though 23 is the 5 is the cutoff. Am I right?
It's looking that way, isn't it?
So there would be a number of teams at this stage that would a few extra teams that would go through. But of course, we have 3 more rounds.
Yes, still early stages.
It's still early stages. I don't know if we'd like to bring on a couple of teams. Harper Adams have jumped up. Anglia Ruskin.
It'd be nice to talk to Harper because they're not a single botanist. They're all entomologists, that team. So
let's talk to Harper Adams and let's bring Anglia Ruskin on as well. I'll stop sharing, but we will share the link. Hello.
Hello.
So how are you
Harper
feeling,
Adams,
Harper?
yes.
Really excited. This is so fun. We're all having a great time.
What was your favorite question?
Probably I'm gonna have to say the first question about the Perry with the different pear varieties, because I used to work on an orchard, so that was right up my street.
Not because you hang out in bars too much.
No,
absolutely not.
There has been a history of alcohol-related questions in book, and they seem to be the questions that most of the teams get right. Not sort of saying that students have got interest in particular areas.
And we've got Bristol here as well. Have we? Okay, my screen's wrong. Anglia Ruskin. Sorry, you take over, please, John and Martin. I'm going to sort out this link.
Ruskin on this.
Hello.
There you are. There you are. So how are you finding it? How are you enjoying your afternoon?
Yeah, not so bad. Not so bad. Pretty good. Yeah, challenging so far.
What are you hoping is going to come up next?
Oh, I don't know. Distributions. Yeah, we love
distributions.
Distributions, right.
Right. Well,
and again, can we ask you guys what was your favorite question in that last round?
I don't know. What you got?
I think the one on Merosty, because I was like, yes, immediately.
Something you knew about.
Yes.
Great stuff.
They got someone knew about it. Yeah.
It's a nice feeling when that happens. Yeah.
That would be you too?
No, that's about all.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
So you're feeling good. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Right, well, good luck with the rest of the afternoon. Hope
Thank
you continue
Bye.
enjoying.
Bye.
Right, we're ready to roll.
Round 3 is genetics and evolution. I'm not sure if you were expecting that, but this is what we're going to be asking you about for 10 questions. If you are ready to go, we'll head into the actual questions. First of all, one of the first types of transposable elements to be discovered in plants is named AC/DS. What does the AC part of that stand for? Abnormal chromosomes, acetylation, adenine cytosine, activator, or Arabidopsis charatica. 5 options there. Closer look, just in case you need a prompt. So we're looking for AC, the meaning of AC in that context. Which of the following is not a phase in the plant mitotic cell cycle? I'm predicting a lot of teams will do well with this. A, anaphase, B, metaphase, C, prophase, D, telophase, or E, zygotine. Just a reminder of what the mitosis looks like in plant material, probably root. And on to the next question. How is colchicine used in plant breeding? A, as a fertilizer, B, to induce chromosome doubling, C, to speed up germination, D, to facilitate uptake of transgenes, or E, to stimulate graft formation in fruit trees. And that's a structural formula. And on to the next question. What cross was made to produce pineberry? Is it A, blueberry and strawberry, B, pineapple and raspberry, C, pineapple and blueberry, D, red strawberry and white strawberry, or E, strawberry and pineapple? Some interesting combinations. And we're just looking for pineberry. What was the first plastic made from genetically engineered plants? Polythene, polycarbonate, sorry, that's A and B respectively. C, polyhydroxybutyrate, C and D, polypropylene, D and E is polystyrene, and the chemical names are there also. And there's the structural formula of a plastic. Question 6 looks like 7. Approximately when did eudicot and monocot lineages diverge? A, 1,500 million years ago, B, 850 million years ago, C, 500 to 450 million years ago, D, 200 to 140 million years ago, or E, 110 to 70 million years ago. And that's a reminder of what we are talking about. This is going to be interesting to see how many people go for that correctly. How many times is it believed that C4 photosynthesis has arisen independently? A, only once ever. B, 10 times. C, 25 times. D, 40 times. Or E, over 60 times. And it's good to see a bit of plant physiology in the questions, along with the evolution. What is the special trait that has evolved in geocyles? A, symbiosis with burrowing rodents. B, they can survive earthquakes. C, most of their mass grows underground. D, they grow in caves. And E, exceptionally hard wood. So G, Wesile. And on to the next question. The first true plants are found in fossils from which geological period? A, Cambrian. B, Carboniferous. C, Jurassic, D, Paleogene, E, Silurian. And there's a prompt on the screen there. Next question. Which of the following genera, dating back to at least 66 million years ago, is not extinct? And I'll struggle with the pronunciation, perhaps. Skyophytus, Pachysteapterus, Glaciopterus, Diliafolia, and E. Calamites. I'm sorry mangling the words, but you can read them for yourself. You should be okay with this. And that's the end of that round. And that was, I was struggling with the pronunciation, and apologies for that, but I hope it didn't detract from your thinking on that last question. John, anything to add to that?
So, well, how did you find those questions? You were commenting that they were sort of closer to home. So did you find that an easier round?
Well, yes. I mean, the physiology and with the evolution was a comfortable sort of area for me. It was good to be seeing that. And I struggled with that last question just in terms of the pronunciation. Apologies for that, John. I'm sure you could have done a very good job there. In fact, I was half hoping you would jump in and to my rescue.
I thought you were going with calamari rather than calamites on the very last.
No, my brain said that, and that
you pulled yourself back.
Yeah. It was.
I think Helen Owen in
interesting
the question team can take credit for the majority of those questions.
Okay, and credit is probably the appropriate way to describe it, because there were some really interesting questions there. I hope the teams were feeling good about the questions, and when they see the responses, I hope they'll feel good about how they get on. I'm not sure if we're about to see the results coming up on the screen here. So, transposable elements to be discovered in plants named A, C, D, S. So you can see the answer is activator. And that was not the least popular, but sort of one of the less chosen varieties of options for answering this question. I think it's fair to say this was.
I think people knew it wasn't a Arabidopsis, and other than that, they were just guessing, weren't they?
Yeah, fair enough. Like well, why not?
Yeah, well, if you don't know, then yeah, it's educated guessing can take you a long way in book.
So either you've not been taught it, or you've forgotten it, or whatever. You may be just having a go at that one.
So you were predicting that they were going to get this one right.
I thought this was.
Your prediction was right. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, very strong result there. So fantastic. Okay. Maybe nothing more to be said in that case, but it's reassuring that there's so much consensus. Colchicine.
Yeah, this is probably going to have a high score. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, also quite a popular question. People doing very well, and quite a large majority, not exactly 50%, but approaching that. But to be fair, other choices as well showing up.
Now this is an interesting one.
Right, so
yeah, and again,
a majority going for what turned out to be the correct answer. People staying well away from pineapple and blueberry for whatever reason, but people taking punts on some of the other ones. Again, it may be a guess, educated or otherwise.
Pineapple was obviously put there to mislead you into thinking the pine was a clue. But of course, pineapple's not really going to cross very easily with those other crops, is it?
Exactly. And thanks for admitting that there was some furtive work going on in constructing that question. So first plastic made from genetically engineered plants. I'm not sure what the image is or the structural element is representing a generic sort of plastic. Anyway, in this case, it's quite mixed, isn't it? And we don't have a majority going from what turns out to be the correct answer, the polyhydroxybutyrate, but 29% of the teams did go for that one. So, you know, that was credit to them. And people possibly were struggling a bit with this. The polyethylene option was quite popular, more popular than the
Well, I
correct
knew it
answer,
definitely started with poly.
which sort of narrows it down a bit.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't narrow it down at
actually,
all.
but
No.
no, you need to get past the poly, don't you, to get into the correct answer area. Some of you might, the teams might have had really good experience of, you know, the applied aspects of plant chemistry. Approximately when did eudicot and monocot lineages diverge? I thought this would be a stronger response for the correct answer. It's quite a decent number have gone for that, but closely followed by E. So we're talking about different time periods, and I think it's probably something that everyone gets taught, and then as early stages in their degrees, for example, and then moves on, puts it to one side. At least no one was going for 1,500 million years ago. But so we're otherwise we're a bit all over the place on that particular one. If we're chatting to some teams afterwards, we may get some comments on that particular question, perhaps. How many times is it believed that C4 for photosynthesis has arisen? So over 60 times is correct, but not the majority answer. Quite a few said 25. A few possibly. I don't know what 6% means in terms of numbers of teams, but
I think that's just a couple, isn't it? Maybe
yeah.
about
So
3%
maybe
is a single
people
team,
taking
so
a
it's just
ton.
two teams.
Maybe people taking a punt there. I think generally in our teaching we refer to multiple times, and maybe not always specifying just exactly how, but it's high. Maybe just a 60, more than 60 times is a safe bet. It's multiple times independently in lots of different plant groups. Or is a special trait that's evolved in the. Can you give me the correct pronunciation from this one, John?
Ooh, not sure I can. Geoxyles?
Geoxyles. I think I
It's
probably
not.
scrambled that one, but I
It's probably a
made a
word I
noble
should know
attempt.
but wasn't familiar with.
Yeah.
But I think,
Okay.
I think you could probably have a reasonable educated guess. So we'd been told that that pronunciation's correct.
The correct answer was chosen by the majority, which is great to see. So most of their mass goes underground. I think the geo part of that word is maybe a clue. I don't know if you agree, John. If
Yeah.
that's would maybe put someone or a team into the right territory, but everyone avoided the burrowing rodents. Unfortunately, that would have been a bit of fun to see something on that. But anyway, quite a narrow range of choices there, but the majority going for the correct answer.
I'm wondering about, do any sort of plants grow in caves actually
Well, it
carry
depends
out
if
their
you
life cycle? I mean, there are saprophytic ones that might, but I'm not aware of any plants that grow in caves. It'd be interesting.
in the absence
I'll
of
Google
light,
that
it's
later.
going to be
John,
interesting.
sorry, there's a lovely butterwort called Pinguicula vallisnerii folia that grows upside down in limestone caves in Spain.
Fabulous. Didn't know that. So I don't know
Wonderful
if
plant.
everybody can hear what Alistair's saying in our ears, but there's a pinguicula that grows in limestone caves in Spain, and I now feel a strong urge to
So
go
it
and
can
find it.
supplement its diet with new insects, presumably, and it's
Hmm.
got probably very interesting pigmentation as well, maybe iridescent. Just interested. I mean, that is fascinating, isn't it? True, found in fossils from what geological time period? Depending, maybe everyone can agree on what they understand by the expression true plants, but anyway, what's the geological time period? Silurian was majority choice, the correct choice, closely followed, I think, by Carboniferous, but no one going for Jurassic. Again, John, you may have additional thoughts about that.
Well, the thing that jumps out there is nobody was fooled by Jurassic Park, were they? They all sort of realised that if there are dinosaurs roaming around, that there are probably plants there first.
Yeah, fair enough. Good deduction. And this is the final one in this round in the genetics and evolution round. You can see the correct answer was chosen by the majority. Yes, almost majority, I think. So a decent number of teams went for the correct pronunciation. This is the one I was struggling to pronounce, and I was hoping that John would or Alistair would jump in with a better pronunciation than I managed to achieve. But anyway, what do you think?
Well, Alistair assures me that I think it's even that specimen that we're looking at is growing around the university in Reading.
Yeah.
So it's not still alive. It's still alive and thriving in Reading. So
Yeah.
something if the teams are not familiar with, they can go and have a look at when we get to the Botany Festival in the summer.
It's actually in someone's front garden.
No, it's in somebody's front garden. Perhaps we have to have a sort of a detour
So
to
they
see
can
it.
have a lot of
Might be a bit
visitors.
surprised if 100 people turn up.
Yes.
It's quite widely grown as an ornamental. Edinburgh grow it. I've seen it growing at Wisley and other places.
Alistair,
Wonderful tree.
could you help us out with me out with the pronunciation?
Theadopitis verticillata.
Theadopitis.
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 Yes.
Okay, got there in the end. Anyway, decent number went for that, followed by not the calamari, but the calamites. Quite a few people going for that, but it was pretty spread. So I think on that basis, we could conclude that was a challenging question.
Yeah, so we're over halfway now to look at the scores. Things are probably starting to bed in a little, and we should probably also warn the teams that we're going to have a short break at this point. But when we come back for the final two rounds, they're going to have only 20 seconds to answer the question. So the pressure cranks up as the quiz progresses. So can we have a look at the scoreboard, team? And there was silence.
We can
Perhaps
keep on
that means
chatting if
perhaps that means the
necessary,
scores are tight.
Yeah.
It's on Jonathan. I've done it.
Okay. Yeah. So Alistair's he's continued his calm calculations. So I'm going to share the scoreboard after 3 rounds. So here it comes shortly.
I like the way you're building up the drama.
Absolutely, yes. I should have said after the break, shouldn't I? Anyway, Oxford and Plymouth at the top, so we'll bring Oxford and Plymouth on in a mo for a chat. Then we've got Aberdeen, last year's champions. We might bring them on as well. Anglia Ruskin, we spoke to earlier, still going strong. On 16, we've got the Botanics from Edinburgh and UCL, still going strong. York, long time no see, coming back. Cambridge, Eden, Edinburgh University on 14, Bangor and Harper Adams on 13, still going well. Edge Hill, Portsmouth on 12, and Reading on 12, Leeds on 11. And if we go down to the critical point, so John, was it 8 teams?
We're losing 8 teams today, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So actually the 9s.
9, yeah.
Yeah, this would be the cutoff here.
Yeah. Between
okay, but there's still 2 rounds to go. So any comments, Martin or John, and then we'll have a chat with Oxford and Plymouth, and then with Aberdeen.
I think there's been quite a shake-up of the teams, actually. Quite interesting.
There has. Alistair says there has. We've still got some of the earlier ones, UCL, Anglia Ruskin, that were up early. Bangor's fallen a little, but lots of time to catch up. So can we have a chat with Oxford and Plymouth, please? I'll stop sharing.
Together or one after the other?
Well, together's fine. I mean, you can chat separately, but they can come on screen together. Hello, Oxford. Hello, Plymouth.
Hi.
Well, familiar faces from Plymouth from the final last year.
Absolutely, and of course Oxford were champions a few years ago,
Couple
so
of
we
years
had
ago, yeah.
the
So we've got teams
festival
with
in Oxford.
form.
So Plymouth first. How is it going? What was your how's it going? Obviously well, but
I think it's
Yeah,
going pretty well.
Yeah. The ID round was good. Last one was there were some good questions. A few we didn't know, but we guessed. Yeah, it's good.
okay. And Oxford? Yeah, you're muted. That's right.
Sorry, camera issues. Thank
Oxford.
You. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Is everyone smiling?
They are. How's it going? How's it going? What was your favourite question?
Oh, that's hard. Julie did very well in the chemical rounds. We actually quite like them. The plastic. Yeah, the plastic round was quite good. Struggle with the fruit.
Great. Oh, okay, lovely. Yeah, well, that's fantastic. So yeah, strong performance. Keep going. We got a break for you now to have a rest. Same with all the teams. Maybe just a quick word. Thank you, Oxford. Maybe a quick word with Aberdeen, who are up at the top because they were our last hello. They have hello from Colombia, Santiago. So they were our champions last year. They've got the Sid Thomas Trophy in their careful hands. So yeah, how's it going? I mean, it's obviously going well. But
what time of day is it in Colombia?
Oh, I thought you meant Aberdeen because it's dark in Aberdeen.
Oh yes, I am glad to be here, man, because I have looking for the forecast in Aberdeen, and it's freezing cold, and it's constantly with rain.
It's
And I
even
am
we've been in the national news. Aberdeen
Oh.
on the national news yesterday mentioned the fact that we have not had sunshine since the 21st of January, but actually I don't even think we had it then. In
Isn't
fact,
there
I've
an old
forgotten what the
joke
sun looks
about the
like.
Aberdonians being the world's first agnostics? In the days when people worshipped the sun, the Aberdonians just weren't sure.
What is there to worship?
Anyway, we have three of the team actually in Aberdeen. So Santiago, what is the time with you? The time of day with you?
So right now is 10:29 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, that's
okay.
civilized.
Yeah.
That's definitely civilized. I would say whole team Aberdeen then. Good to see you back close to the top of the leaderboard. Feeling good?
Yeah, the first few rounds were a bit shaky, but I think we're feeling more
Back in the
confident.
groove.
Yeah, we've seen you come back in the groove, so that's excellent. So keep at it, and all teams keep at it. You should be able to see the scoreboard. I shared the link in the chat. We're going to take a break now. The schedule. So thank you, Aberdeen. The schedule says that what is the time now? So it's half past.
And we're back on at 1:45.
Yeah, so 15-minute break. So everyone take a 15-minute break, do whatever you need to do. We will be back here moving into round 4, the last 2 rounds. And as John pointed out, the time will go down to 20 seconds. So it'll be, get yourselves energized, hydrated and oxygenated, ready for the last 2 rounds. So we'll see you at 3:45 in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Well, welcome back to Botanical University Challenge 2026. Final 2 rounds of 10 questions each, with sadly 8 teams potentially losing us at the end of the afternoon. So with that, over to Martin and we'll discover what the next round of questions is all about.
And John, I think next time you talk, you might need to raise your volume a bit. It's lower than it has been. Thank you. So penultimate session. As you can see, world, plants, and ethnobotany. I hope you were looking forward to this. You're getting excited. You've got the right people in place to answer some questions about world plants and ethnobotany. Are you ready to start? Okay, so into the first question. Which of the following plants was not domesticated in Brazil? Cassava, plantain, peanut, pineapple, or guava? A reminder of where Brazil is, in case you had forgotten. And remember, just take a punt if you're not sure. You've got less time to decide. What is this crop plant? And again, when the questions start, please remember that if you've only got 20 seconds, make sure that you're ready with an answer, even if it's a guess. Thank you. I think the time's restarting now. So what is the crop plant? Papaya, passion fruit, fig, pumpkin, or dragon fruit? I think the time has been restarted. Apologies, because I was making a domestic announcement, by the way. Ulster Dale, Ulster Chieftain, and Ulster Clade are varieties of what? Turnip, and this is A. B. Cabbage. C. Apple. D. Blackcurrant. And E. Potato. Again, if you're not sure, make a guess in the last few seconds. Next question. To what family does the seed of this tropical tree belong? Polygalaceae, Clusiaceae, Fabiaceae, Ericaceae, Ethanicaceae. I'm sorry about the pronunciation, but you can see it on the screen there. To what family does this arid zone plant belong? Cactaceae, Crassulaceae, Alizanaceae, Portulaceae, I've put my glasses on, and Amaranthaceae. That's a close-up. It's going faster for me as well as for you. Next question. Chianti bottles were traditionally wrapped in a straw basket called a fiasco. What plant species is traditionally used for this purpose? A. Common bulrush. B. Common reed. C. Reed canary grass. D. Reed sweetgrass. And E. Bottle sedge. So it's all going quite quickly. Next question. Betel nuts are often chewed, wrapped in leaves of the betel plant or with its inflorescence. What plant family is the betel plant in? Araceae, this is A. B. Piperaceae. C. Brassicaceae. D. Ericaceae. And E. Loganaceae. Next question. The seeds of Strychnos nux vomica were traditionally used to make A. An aphrodisiac, B. Suppositories, C. Face paint, D. Treatment for malaria, or E. Poison arrows. Oh, this is a close look. On to the next question. The anti-cancer drug paclitaxel was first commercially extracted from the bark of which species of tree? A. Utah juniper. B. Yopan holly. C. Pacific yew. D. Tasmanian myrtle. And E. Common laburnum. And that's the structural formula. Next question, and this is the final question. According to Iroquois mythology, which plant first grew out of the Earth Woman's head after she died, giving birth to her twin sons, Sapling and Flint? A. Common sunflower. B. Winter squash. C. Blueberry. D. Wild rice. And E. Tobacco. And that is your round 4. Quick and sweet, intense, and I hope enjoyable.
Flies, doesn't it? 20 seconds is not long to answer those questions, is it?
Not enough time to think, so probably you need to be ready to go. Again, John, I think unless it's just me at my end, your sound's gone down a bit.
It's not. It's just where your microphone is, John.
Is that any better?
A little.
You were louder before, so we know it's possible.
Yeah.
And we would not want you to be not understood or heard.
Right. Is that better?
That's a lot better, thank you.
I think it's just got accidentally pressed. Right, so the first 5 questions there, I think it's not a secret, they probably were all written by Steve Harris at Oxford, and then the second 5 were I should put my hands up for, so be interesting to work back through them and see how the teams get on with them. There's quite a variety I thought there was there.
Some classic sort of material, I think, for ethnobotany.
Are we in a position to sort of look and see how well the teams got on answering those questions?
We can, John and I can chat if there's a delay in putting up these answers.
Hello.
How did I get? Oh, wow. I have multiple careers, so I mean, you probably need several hours, and it would be boring. But right now, I just became inspired by the University of Sussex. Has some great teachers, including David Streeter, the famous David Streeter. He was my honours project supervisor all those years ago, and he's still going strong. So here was our first question, and you could guess in advance what you think is probably the correct answer, and hopefully you will be right in going for the plantain option. That was quite a substantial number of teams that made that choice, followed by peanut and pineapple and other options not so popular. John, jump in with comments if you wish, but
oh, yeah, just
maybe that's as
everybody got the papaya. Everybody. I think it's the first time we've had 100% correct, isn't it?
I think we need questions like this, don't we? Just to lift everyone's spirits and just say, you know what, I do know something. Sometimes I have my doubts, although no team should doubt their expertise because everyone's been doing really well. Very impressive. So varieties of what? Lots of people went for the turnip, but the majority went for the correct answer, which was potato. And
nobody going for ribes this time. They've been fooled by black currants before, and yeah, not going to make the ribes mistake again.
And that was another example of a sneaky question, perhaps, but not deliberately misleading, but with a few maybe red herrings.
I'm guessing that they've done reasonably well on this one.
Let's have a look.
There we go. Yeah.
Substantial Fabaceae. And that was
It's a big
indisputable. Yes, pretty much. Yeah. And the Arizona plant belonging to a lot of people went for the crustulaceae.
Yeah.
And the correct one was cetacea. Any comment on that, John, or others?
Yeah,
I think they're busy working on the scores. But
there can be, we have a sort of an image of what cacti look like, and it can be quite a variable family. So I think that's possibly what wrong-footed people.
it looks succulent, doesn't it? And you think, well, that's probably what we're talking about here, but that was enough to detract some people, and a few others went for some of the other options as well.
The key feature of cactaceae are the areoles, those little spiny bumps
I don't know
at
if
the base
people
of the
can see
leaves.
the cursor moving on the
Yeah,
screen.
I hope they
But
can.
Alistair's pointing out the
Yeah.
areoles, which are distinctive features.
That's what tells you it's cactaceae. It's the only family that has those.
I think that all the teams deserve that additional information. Thank you. And I hope they heard Alistair, by the way. So counting bottles. Right. Common bulrush was the correct answer. Not the majority of people going for that, but still a fairly substantial proportion.
Yeah, a number of people falling for the trap of bottle sedge.
Because you think bottle. Okay.
Yeah, bottle sedge is what the inflorescence looks like rather than what its ethnobotany uses for.
Betel nuts make an interesting coloration inside your mouth.
Yeah, the teams did well on this. I think the photo probably helped a lot. The real credit for this, it says the book team, but the photo was provided by a former colleague of mine in Papua New Guinea called Stephanie Tringen. So a wave to Stephanie in Papua New Guinea if you're watching the Zoom.
Great. So quite a decent number of groups went for that, and that's very satisfying to see.
I think with the photo, you can see that there are beetle nuts, and then there are these long sort of inflorescences which are quite distinctive of the Piperaceae. So if you know the family at all, you should be able to identify it, even if you're not aware of beetle nut chewing. It's often called mustard, and it tastes hot and sort of peppery. I think it's
but
just
it wakes you up and
well, I think the pepper bit is just to disguise the horrible taste of the beetle nut.
Very popular though for some communities. Yes. So poison arrows. That substantial number of the teams went for that quite correctly. And
just one going for suppositories. We won't ask them who they are.
Just as well, I think that would be a bad idea. But anyway, that's good to see that people recognize that very important part of culture. Andy.
Yeah, I was guessing that this one would be one that people recognized.
It was a substantial
There's a bit of a clue in the name as well, isn't there?
Yeah, actually, yes. Now I come to think of it. So actually, maybe people just knew this anyway.
Yeah.
Bark of trees. Well, that's it's familiar territory for drugs, isn't it? I was thinking of aspirin, for example, and I just wonder how many drugs have yet to be discovered in barks of trees. Pacific U. That's a good answer.
Final question.
And the final question. Iroquois mythology. Tobacco was popular choice.
But yeah,
followed by common
fairly even
sunflower.
split apart from blueberry there.
Yeah. So a bit all over the place. I hope people enjoyed that round, by the way, including those that maybe don't do a lot on ethnobotany as part of their studies, but they nevertheless have a good understanding.
Yeah. So I've been told to come on and just tell you that there's a little bit of a wait for the scores, and we need to get this right. I think it was clear that the 20-second change of time made a bit of a difference. A few teams didn't quite get through. So the major recommendation, headline recommendation for the final round is just to make sure you take a punt at all 10, because there's still plenty to play for.
Probably some high scores in that round. There were a few questions where the majority of teams seemed to get them right, which is good for confidence as you're entering the final round.
So one team have doubled their overall score through that round.
Very impressive. So I think Jonathan, thanks for mentioning that, because it's quite an important strategic point that just with less time, you don't have a lot of opportunity to do a consultation, for example, within your group. it would, within 20 seconds, you've only got time to sort of comprehend
Absolutely.
the question and narrow it down to maybe 2 options. And then if you're still stuck and it's 19 seconds in, go for it.
Yeah, just
whatever.
go.
Yeah. And
So I'm guessing all the teams will have one person who's pressing the button,
could be in
they're
charge of that.
They're the one that
Yeah,
needs to either take a shout from the team or take their guess. Yeah.
Anyway, it's not cheating, by the way. It's just good gamesmanship. I think it's
absolutely.
Just makes
We're
it a lot
actually really good for time. We've got this a bit down to a fine art over the years that we've done this. So actually looking at the timetable, it's 4 o'clock now, and round 5 is scheduled for 10 past. So the marks are in. So I'm just going to go and get there and share. So a bit of a drum roll. There's a new leader. Excellent. And yes. So one has to say that north of the border is doing quite well. Let's share. Where are we? Why does it take me so long? Yeah, share. Yes. Okay. So here we are. This is
the question.
The leaderboard. So we've got the Botanics, Royal Botanic Garden, Edinburgh, top now 24, closely followed by Aberdeen, Oxford, and UCL. Anglia Ruskin still strong, 22. Eden strong, Plymouth strong on 22. York, long time no see. Welcome back. Good to see you again, and you're on 21. Cambridge, your gloomy Sundays are looking quite bright on 20. Bangor, love it. Edinburgh University and Reading on 18, lovely. Dundee, Edge Hill, Harper, Portsmouth 17. Then we've got 16s, Aberystwyth, Galway, Leeds, Bristol, lots on 14. Some 13s down to 12, 11, and 8 at the bottom. And we were saying during the break that there is no shame doing wherever you are on the leaderboard. These are good scores. They're tough questions. And the big prize, of course, is the festival coming up in Reading. Today is fun, competitive, of course, but that's our leaderboard. I think we did have a question about a question. Whether there's a lot of laughter going on in here. It's quite tough, I'm telling you. Don't know how these news readers manage to keep their composure with all that's going on around them, as one assumes. So, there we are.
Oh, are we having any teams
on? They're not cross-checked yet, so we will be checking. So this is, I should say, so this is the scoreboard that we have at the moment, but we have all the scores saved. So we will check, and we reserve the right for it to be a little bit different next time.
And while that's going on,
okay,
John or Jonathan, can you explain the rationale for going from 30 to 20 seconds going into these final rounds?
It's just to build up the heat and make it more exciting and fair.
But we can hear from the students later, hopefully, about how what that felt like and how they responded. I'm guessing really quite well, actually.
We could bring on a couple of teams if we want. I haven't got anything in mind. I'm just trying to sort myself out here.
In the chat box about the beetle nut question and the confusion between the beetle nut and the beetle plant that's eaten with it. So people were sort of confused and went for the beetle nut rather than the beetle plant, which is in Piperaceae.
Have we heard from the Botanics team yet, John, seeing as they've shot?
Yeah, that'd be nice to hear them, seeing as they're currently leading.
I'm just trying to I can't get back on the screen. I don't know why. Let me trying to mute myself. Let's mute myself.
Botanics, where are you? I'm just looking if I can if you can't turn your cameras on, I can. Well, here you are. Come on up.
Hello.
How
so
are you guys?
You had a strong round then. You enjoyed that one. Yeah.
Did you all share in that success, or was one person in particular perhaps the expert? in
I think it's
ethnobotany.
pretty even.
Quite mixed.
I think
Yeah.
all the rounds have been quite mixed. Got a
Yes,
good
you've all had
varied
a shot. You've all contributed.
Wonder if there's any link between the questions being written by somebody from a Botanic Gardens and Botanic Gardens team doing really well.
Don't know.
That's a conspiracy theory.
It's not a conspiracy theory, it's just the fact that they've got similar interests. So the next round won't be written by Steve Harris, I don't think. I can't remember what's coming up. The great thing of I can't show any bias because I've got no idea what questions are about to hit you.
I think you'll enjoy the final round. I think all of the teams will enjoy it. We'll announce it shortly when.
Yes, we just need one more team to join the soccer round. So do triple check that you are in and ready. We're missing one of you guys.
And there's a notice that the marks will be double checked, obviously, during the final round, and probably double checked again when we get the scores from the final round.
Absolutely.
Because importantly, we're just going to lose 8 of you, well, a maximum of 8 of you today, and everybody else will be joining again in a week's time for all the fun to happen again.
Yeah, so we have a mark spreadsheet. The Socrative software outputs a spreadsheet of marks at the end of each round, and those are sent to me. I have to then manually edit them and copy them into the live scoreboard. And every time I enter a mark, the scoreboard rearranges itself with the top mark at the top, which means I'm always trying to cross-check an alphabetical list against a list in performance order. And during each round, I double check the marks. So what you see is my initial mark entry and not necessarily the final one, but we have a spreadsheet with the final marks in. It's a thankless task.
You're under pressure, aren't you? And hopefully no one's screaming in your ear.
No, no one's. Well, Jonathan's screaming in my ear all the
Not
time,
screaming,
but not about
but
the
maybe.
marks.
And I'd love to hear from groups that are not necessarily towards the top end of the scoreboard. You know, that we could hear about their experience
Can
as
we
well,
hear
if
from
possible.
Cardiff? Because it's Cardiff's first time.
Yeah.
Cardiff, are you able to put your
let's
camera
bring
on and
Cardiff
join us?
on.
Yeah.
Hi, Cardiff.
Fantastic. Yeah.
How are you finding it as newbies?
Okay, not bad.
You wish you'd done more revision, or you just got your fingers crossed for the final round?
Well, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Good luck with the final round. You seem to be smiling, which is what it's all about. So as long as you're having a good time, then fabulous.
Exactly.
So what would you prefer to come up? What do you think your strong sort of areas are? What would you like in the last 10 questions?
Yeah, probably more like how fun would be good.
Right, well, fingers crossed for you.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We're on the home straight, I think.
Yeah,
so
we are.
Yeah. Again, 20 seconds for each question. So
good luck to all.
Make sure you are ready to spring into action as soon as we go into the first question. So, and our first question, obviously, to you is: are you ready? And assuming that you are, and we'll go into the first question. The seeds of Chelidonium majus or greater celandine is Mickey Mecron Cororis, I should know how to pronounce that, which means they're dispersed by A, wind, B, taxis, or C, the fur of animals. An explosive pod is D, and E is ants. I'm sorry I scrambled the pronunciation. Next question: what do caterpillars of large blue butterflies eat before being taken into ants' nests? Wild thyme is A. B. Bird's foot trefoil. C. Rock rose. D. Wood sage. And E. Heather. Let's take a closer look at the butterfly. Next question. The seeds of what tree are thought to require ingestion by dodos to be able to germinate? So A is Barian, B, Magbu, Mapu, sorry, bottle palm is C, Tambala Anke is D, and ebony is D. Monarch butterflies are toxic and foul tasting because their caterpillars sequester cardinaloides in from what plant? A, poison ivy, B, sumac, C, machineal tree, D, Jimson weed, and E, milk seed weed. Get there in the end. Next question, what type of organism causes these structures to form? You can see in the image when you have a closer look at A, knobber gall wasp, B, artichoke gallfly, C, spangled gall wasps, D, leaf miner moth, or E, leaf gall fungus. A closer look. Next question, which of the following is not likely to be a constant species in a British or Irish oak woodland? A, English oak, B, honeysuckle, C, bracken, D, bramble, and E, common marsh bedstraw. Not likely to be found. Next question, which of the following plant families does not contain epiphytes? A, Ranunculaceae, B, Orchidaceae, C, Bromeliaceae, D, Cactaceae, and E, Araceae. So the family is not containing epiphytes. Next question, what is unusual about the seeds of several mangrove species? They are A, polyembryonic, B, viviparous, C, dispersed by fish, D, monocarpic, or E, color polymorphic. Next question, which of the following is not likely to be a constant species in short grazed calcareous grassland in Great Britain or Ireland? A, Carline thistle, B, bilberry, C, sheep's fescue, D, salad burnet, and E, wild thyme. That was your penultimate question. And then finally, final question, in Graham's CSR model of plant life history strategies, what type of plants might you expect to be positioned in the middle of the triangle? A, annual ruderals, B, long-lived trees, C, stress tolerators, D, biannuals, and E, perennial herbs. And that is the final question.
Just as the tension was building there, I went offline and missed a big chunk of that. So hopefully the students didn't face the same problems, and that they, from what I saw, the last few questions, that was a nice round that I'm hoping that they've got a lot of marks for.
And always a question about Graham's CSR model is always always seems to be welcome in these quizzes, I think.
Yeah. Be interesting to know how the Sheffield team, bearing in
Exactly,
mind
yes. Yeah.
Sheffield professor for many
No
years.
excuses not to
And
know
I
about
noticed in the chat that the Harper team were happy to see some insects in there. So the entomologists were pleased.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I've just come on now. Obviously, the score is still being put together, but that's the end of the first day questions. Be interesting to see the scoreboard. But yeah, I mean, very exciting. And the 20 seconds, I don't think, just look what I saw, that we had more students not getting through. There were a few, but I think that hopefully they were all primed to just go for it. And we'll see.
So let's have a look at the answers. So
Chelidonium majus, this seeds from, well, a question about dispersal, ants, popular choice correctly.
Yeah.
And I think the clue's in the name, isn't it?
Yeah, there's
Among
definitely
other
a clue
things.
there, and in the photo. Nobody
Yeah.
went for taxes, strangely enough. Seeds dispersed by taxes have still got to evolve.
Yeah, I do.
Conversation.
That is fascinating part of plant biology. And on to the next question. I think somebody's busy doing something else at the moment.
Technical difficulty with the live stream. I can't even. What's the next question?
It's a beautiful question anyway. It's still on
It's a
screen
milkweed
there.
question.
So the insect people presumably very happy
Yeah.
with some of these questions. Monarch butterflies,
About
a
everybody getting
huge proportion of the groups were going for the milkweed.
In fact, the butterfly's called the milkweed in Britain, isn't it, rather than the monarch?
That helps a lot, and obviously you weren't including that in the question, but I think that's a lot of people just knew that these are not guesses. Clearly, this is, established knowledge with great confidence and aplomb. People are going for the correct answer. Next question, if we can have a look at that. So these structures, these galls or gall-like structures, what's causing them? Spangled gall got the majority of the votes, and that is the correct one. The Nopper gall was sort of runner-up, but not maybe so convincing as those teams that were going for the correct answer, the spangled gull.
So the first five were
I don't know if there's
animal interactions, and now we're on to sort of purer plant ecology questions.
Yeah. So not likely to be. So this is about species associations, and I think that it looks like this is a well-received question. A lot of groups performing really well on that, going for the common marsh bed straw. And there's only 2 runners up and others just out of the picture in terms of choices. So that was quite convincing, I think. I'm sure lots of teams were welcoming that question, along with a plant family that does not contain epiphytes. The Ranunculaceae does not have any epiphytes, and all the others potentially do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on that list. Anything additional to say about that, John or Alistair?
Well, yeah, people obviously knew about orchids and bromeliads, and then a couple of people sort of thinking that cactuses might not be epiphytes or are epiphytes. But yeah, buttercups is the answer. There's no epiphytic ranunculaceae.
Yeah.
So epiphytic cacti, Christmas cacti, very famously are epiphytes.
Just not rooted to the ground and attached to another plant, presumably, is what we're talking about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And dragon fruit is another sort of well-known example, grown sort of commercially on poles.
So we're asking here about the unusual seeds of several mangrove species. Viviparous
team's doing very well.
What many groups are going for that correctly, and people
Fish
intrigued by the
dispersals
possibility of
attracted a
yes,
few,
exactly, yeah, I was thinking that. you can see why that would be a tempting idea, because we need a few unusual examples of dispersal to go along with the more traditional ones.
And taxes.
Yeah, taxes. I'll work that into some of my future lectures, I think. No, so this is the penultimate question in the round,
and
and
again,
also
the
in
team's
the
doing really
day
strong
one,
answers.
and Bilberry got a lot of attention, quite correctly, and really no serious runners up for that choice. So probably the others where selections are being made, maybe these are guesses, and we're saying yes, absolutely go for it. If you really are stuck, just go for it, and you never know.
Well, it looks like we've got a lot of good plant ecologists in the teams this year.
Yeah,
Doing
yeah.
really strongly in this round.
With the insect people as well,
Mhm.
maybe even in the same team, that would be quite a nice combination. And
Final question.
Yeah. We were saying in the pause, this is Grime's CSR model, quite popular in these quizzes, and somebody made a comment that I think Jonathan said, I hope the Sheffield team did well with this question, because Grime is, of course, of Sheffield, and perennial herbs was the majority decision, which was correct, but actually, to be fair, followed by quite a few other punts. Annual ruderals not getting too much attention, but some of the other groups potentially are in the reckoning. And so this, just every bookshelf should have this on there somewhere, or every library certainly. If you're working with any plants, get used to where it belongs in the CSR model. Anything additional that we should be talking about here, John, for this question, or more generally for the fifth round?
Just trying to pick up a sort of comment in the chat there about going back to 2 to 5.
Yes,
There's an issue with can we go over questions 2 and 5 again? Is that what you're saying? 2 to 5?
Yeah, questions 2 to 5 were just temporarily not visible on the live stream whilst we're running some problems. So if we could just cover the answers for our online audience, that would be great.
Did they get the audio bit of it?
The audio was there, yeah, but just not the visuals.
So this one, number 2, Dispersal by Mira Chorus. I still struggle with that, but we're saying what's the mechanism for dispersal. Ants was an overwhelming choice.
And the correct answer.
Which is always good. In this case, we've got an overwhelming choice. No, it wasn't overwhelming. We got a majority choice for Mersefoot Sheffield. Turned out to be not correct, but Wild Thyme was. And I think at that point, John, you were saying it was a different butterfly that people
Birdsfoot trefoil is the food plant
yeah.
of the common blue.
Yeah.
But the large blue actually went extinct and was reintroduced.
Yeah.
Feeds on wild thyme before it's taken into ant nests by ants, and it feeds on ant larvae for the majority of its life. So a reasonably well-known story, but yeah, I think people sort of fell for the common blue.
And this was also missing from the visual feed, a question about what seeds require ingestion by dodos to remove the protection that prevented them from germinating. In other words, we partially digested. The group D, and nobody's told me how to pronounce this, by the way, but I'm hoping somebody can do that. So it's in the audio. The option was quite popular, but also the first option, Onion, was quite popular as well. So this was not as straightforward as that I think for many teams. So this was not...
Alistair was claiming there's an alternative explanation due to sort of seed predation or seedling damage
by rats,
from rats. So yeah.
So fascinating. But are we going through the entire remainder questions,
I think just to this question, I think
this one here? Okay. this one is a slam dunk, isn't it? With monarch butterflies going toxic foul tasting because their caterpillars sequester cardinaloides, from which plant milkweed was overwhelmingly chosen by a very high proportion. So people who didn't choose that probably just were guessing, to be fair, but a lot of people seem to recognize what was going on there in that particular case. Right.
Well,
so
hopefully, while we've been chatting,
yeah,
people working on the scores have had a chance to compile the league table and double check it, particularly at the bottom, because what's important today is who's in the last 8 places and who, sadly, we're going to be saying goodbye to. But whoever we say goodbye to, of course, you're all welcome at the Botany Student Festival in Reading. We'll great to see all of you in August, and hope you've had a great time, whatever score you've got this afternoon, and have learnt something new, and I've found it fun. Jonathan, how are we getting on?
We're doing okay, but of course this is the final score, so Alistair is doing a double check.
He's taking his shoes off to be double sure.
Absolutely, counting his toes, exactly. But no, that was great, and it was nice, I think, to see some good, strong answering in that final round. I can say is all teams are in double figures. So even at the bottom of the scoreboard, we've got scores in double figures. So very respectable. And what we will probably do, obviously we'll ask the teams, but I think it would be nice when we've seen the scoreboard to have a talk with some of the teams that we will lose. If there are, because we won't see them next week, we'll see the other teams, and it will be nice just to have a chat and see how they've got on, because those teams can follow us online. Oh yeah. Sorry, yes, I'm being harangued here because, of course, all teams can play next week because they can follow online, but they won't be on the screen as such. So anyway, are we ready to show? Almost there, not quite there yet. So,
not ready for the drum roll yet.
Not quite. No, well, we can have a drum roll. It'll just be quite an extended drum roll. Yeah, I don't want to bathe in glory here, but I'm looking at my schedule here, and my schedule says the results ceremony will be at 16:30, and my computer is saying 16:30. So I think round of applause for the planning team, and for our chair, and John and our teams for keeping us to time. As John said earlier, in the early days of online, back in 2021, we went on quite a long time. Now we've really got the machine well oiled, and really exciting. Marks are all double checked, so I'm going to share the scoreboard. This is the scoreboard for the end of the first round of Botanical University Challenge 2026. And there we are. So at the top of the scoreboard, we have 2 teams on 32, Oxford, Live and Let Times, and UCL, one of our new teams, the Bloomsbury Botanists. So round of applause. Anglia Ruskin, also 31, Aberdeen, Plymouth, Botanics, Edinburgh on 30, Eden, 29, Back to the Fuchsia, and with us. York, 28, Bangor, Cambridge, 26, Edinburgh University and Reading, 25, Edge Hill, 24, Galway, Fortback, Harper Adams enjoyed the entomology round, 23, Leeds, Portsmouth, 22, Aberystwyth, Cardiff, 21, Queen Mary, University College Dublin on 20, and then Bristol, Queen's Belfast 19, Southampton 19. We need to count up from the bottom to see where we are. I haven't done this yet. So
it's 18, so I think it's Essex and below.
I'm afraid it is exactly 8 teams. We have no ties. from
Yeah, it's a
Essex
clean break.
downwards. I'm afraid we won't see you on screen next week, but we do thank you very much for taking part. It would be quite nice if you could, if we could have some of you just to come on and have a talk through. It's lovely to be at the top of the leaderboard, but Botanical University Challenge is about botany. It's about celebrating plants. It's about celebrating students and their interest and love for plants. And all of you are in that category, whether you're at the top or the middle or the bottom of the leaderboard. So if we could, yeah, we've got Essex on screen. Yes, hello, Essex.
Hello.
How are we after those 5 rounds?
Disappointed.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Of course, one of the aims of Buck is plant knowledge, as well as the community of plant-loving students and support and so on. So I do hope we'll see all of you and all the other teams in Reading for the festival in August. But as my colleagues here said, you can of course play along next week and say, we was robbed, when you come in roaring through next week's competition. And Alistair's a message through there. That's great work, Essex. We brand new team for this year, so we look forward to seeing you not only in August in Reading, but as a team, Essex coming in future. We've been doing some analysis of teams in Botanical University Challenge, and there are teams obviously who've been with us for a long time. There's others like yourselves who have come in more recently, and between those groups, we're just growing and growing. 32 teams. Sheffield, hello. Say, tell us how you found those 5 rounds.
Well, everybody wants to know about the grime question.
Oh, everyone wants to know the CSR grime question.
I don't think we got that one right.
That's what I love. You could easily have said, yeah, of course we got that one right.
We did, of course.
It was a little bit difficult. I was going because I was studying ecology with Peter Grubb and Phil Grime. So I was thinking, is it trees? Is it perennial herbs? So yeah, anyway, but well done, and well done for being honest. Any more to say? Any more to say?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much.
It's our pleasure, and it will be our pleasure to see you in Reading. We've got really exciting.
Taking part and enjoying it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So shall we go back to the scoreboard? Summarize?
As someone on the Celtic fringe, I'd like to point out that all the Welsh teams, all the Scottish teams, and all the Irish teams are through. So the Four Nations continues. This is the real sort of Four Nations. Never mind those egg chasers.
Yeah, no, marvelous, absolutely marvelous. I'm happy to bring on other teams if you wish in a mo. Because we're good for time, but I'm going to just share the leaderboard again. But basically, I think the teams know. Sorry, I'm sometimes a bit slow at this stuff. There we go. So there we are. This is the top of the leaderboard. Just to remind you again, I'll just scroll down. Really fantastic competition. I mean, we find with Botanical University Challenge, we have a great question setting team and a diversity of questions which has grown over the years, but it's wonderful to see the performance of students and the learning, as we just heard, that goes on. Even those students who maybe don't get quite as high up the leaderboard as they would like are learning stuff, and our online audience. So hello again to our online audience. Thanks for your comments in the chat. But I'm just scrolling down here, looking at all these amazing scores here. And the range of teams that we're going to have next week. So you've got a week to hydrate, oxygenate, do a bit of revision, and we will see you from Southampton here to the top of the leaderboard here. All of you, great teams. Sorry to be losing the lower 8. But again, thanks for being in, and thanks for being part of Botanical University Challenge.
And a big thanks to Martin for being in the chair this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I said to John when I joined the team for today, I thought I'm going to struggle with some of these pronunciations. I hope that wasn't too much of a distraction. Maybe it was a bit of entertainment if it wasn't frustrating. But anyway, the point is, I'm passionate about what you're doing. And I think it's brilliant to see the students responding so strongly to this opportunity.
Yeah,
there's a nice breakdown of the scores team by team. Just Alistair's just posted into the chat if you're interested. That's so the team to sort of see their performance round by round.
Yeah, yeah. So we've got other members of the planning team here. Does anyone else want to come on? Just say a few final words. I have a couple of slides to finish the event, but by all means, please do open your cameras if you want to add a few words at this stage.
I just invited a few extra teams. I think UCL.
Thank you.
And I wasn't sure if Nottingham or Liverpool wanted to say hello as well, just as we're leaving them. But over to you, UCL.
Hello and congratulations.
Hello, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Did you think when you registered as a first-timer team here that you would be finishing round one in quite such an elevated position?
We were just trying to get through, especially after the third round, the third set of questions today. But yeah, we hung on in there.
Well done. Can I throw to Nottingham next? Because in my old alma mater, I'm sorry, guys, that we won't catch you in the next rounds, but I do hope you can join us at Reading this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. So are we. We're really excited with the planning. And I can see Liverpool on screen. Is that right as well? Hello, Liverpool. Hello. Pennyworth Lane. I love that. And Liverpool, I think, I'm just looking at I've got a little plan here. I think we missed you for a year or so because you were definitely we actually held one of the early rounds at Nest Gardens live. Muriel Jones, our planning team member who runs social media and other stuff, organised it in Liverpool, and I think there were a few years. And you did really well. You did really well in the Reading live one back in 2019. But I'm just looking down my thing here. That's right. Yes. So you were in from 2019 all the way through. And then there's been a couple of years that we've missed you. And I was so pleased when Muriel said that there was a Liverpool team. So yeah, do you want to share any thoughts with us? Any chat before we finish?
They've gone shy. They've turned the camera off.
How can Liverpool be shy? Fantastic city. I love Liverpool. I was standing by that Penny Lane sign not so long ago. Okay, anyway, good to see you.
Thank you.
Hello.
That was a good quiz.
It's a good quiz. We'll quote you on that.
Yeah, pretty mind-boggling at some point. Because I'm not from around, so it's quite a learning curve for me, but we enjoyed it very much.
Absolutely.
Good to hear. We try and have plenty of international plants in there as well, so it's not entirely British focused. But yeah, you're right.
Because some of us about the topics, and then we just got it right nail on the head on those questions. So yeah, here we go. And also the grind thing is basically what my project is based on. Here we go.
Anyway, we hope to see you in the summer, but hope to see you again next year.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, do play along in the next weeks and do come to Reading. We'll be sending out all teams. We'll be sending out the invites when we've got these online rounds out the way. So brilliant. Thank you. So I see we've got Lauren here. Lauren, do you want to add? I mean, we probably said all that needs to be said, but a few final words.
No, just that was really enjoyable. Love the questions this year. Well done, John, and all of the team for pulling those together. I would have struggled with a large number. and that's the joy. There's always something new to learn, and every year I do learn. And yeah, looking forward to finalising that programme for Reading, Jonathan, so that we can pull something together spectacular for everybody here.
Absolutely, absolutely, we will. So if we've finished, I've just got a couple of slides that I will share, and we'll finish this first day of Botanical University Challenge 2026. Okay, so just to remind us of the wonderful 32 teams from right across UK and Ireland that we have had competing this year. I should say, when I posted this picture on Facebook, I had a comment from a colleague saying, what about an international Botanical University Challenge? And that is something we have thought about for some years. It would be quite a thing to organize, but maybe we could kick off with a few countries. So maybe if you've got some thoughts about that as students and online audience, do ping them through to us. But for the moment, our lovely 32 teams, now reduced by 8, but going through to next week. We look forward to seeing you all same time, same place. The team names, you've been hearing them today. We've got a competition and it should be open. The QR code should work and you can choose your top 3. And we'll keep this competition open for this month. Then we close it and we'll announce the winners with some modest but nonetheless prizes in August at the live event on the 19th of August. So do take part. And we had a good response last year and I'm sure we'll get similar this year. Of course, something as amazing, impressive and quite complex as a Botanical University Challenge requires teamwork, and this is the amazing team that we have. This is not the whole team. There are others working with us, but this includes members of the question setting team towards the top. Our social media, Meryl Jones, and other members of the question team, our tech and also publications, members of the team, and also fundraising and planning. So these amazing people make up Botanical University Challenge, often behind the scenes, voluntary hours, uncountable. And the result is what you've seen today, and I think it's just testimony to this amazing team that we've got this collaborative project to where we have. And for the last years, it's just been growing in reach, in size, in numbers of teams, and in impact. And that's thanks to this team, to all our students, our alumni, past and present, and also thank you very much to our online audience for your support. Please keep that coming. So yeah, this is the Botanical University Challenge 2026 planning team. As I say, not all, but a large number of the team. Thank you very much. We are all over social media. As I say, we have. Oh, hello. Good. Fine. Sorry. Yeah, social media. You can follow us. I would flag up our newsletter, which has gone from strength to strength. It's edited by Meryl Jones, but we have a lot of student input, and this is something that you can find on our website. Follow the QR code, but botanicaluniversitychallenge.co.uk is where you can find lots of information about the project, but also you can find copies of the newsletter at the times, and we'll be reporting the online rounds in the next edition, which will be out in the next few months. We have 4 issues every year. We're on Instagram, we're on Blue Sky, we started out on TikTok, and of course YouTube, where you're maybe viewing us now. So follow us, support us, and we'll see you next week. So from me, from the rest of the planning team here in Reading, in Aberystwyth, in Leeds, in Liverpool, and in Oxford, thank you and see you next week. Indeed.